Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Matt, and today we are going to talk why you should avoid feature branches and how it can improve your Git flow. But before we start, please hit the like button and subscribe so more people can watch this video. So today we are going to talk about Git flow proposed by Vincent Reason in January 2010, and it was adopted by so many software engineering companies. So probably most of you are familiar with this. So let's get started. So in this model, we have two main branches, which is master and develop. Master is responsible for the production releases, and they are tagged with version numbers. And develop, which is supposed to be your working branch. And out of develop, you're supposed to create feature branches in which you develop features. And this is the part which I really don't like about this model, that from this point on, the code is getting distributed. So none of the branches contains the up-to-date version of code, and all of people are working on stale code. So look, the current version of the code is distributed across these three branches. And as I see, here we have a timeline, which suggests that there's like some long time, like I don't know how long it is. Is it either the sprint or like definitely not a day? I would say it's way longer because we see the releases. Maybe it's even months. So it suggests that this distribution of code is supposed to be something very normal. And I don't agree with this. But let's go further. Developers are supposed to create release branches which are used to create the release to master. And they supposed to accept only bug fixes. So we have already such a decentralization of our code is distributed between so many branches. So merging it later on into one center point is hell because everybody has conflicts. And at the end, the production release is completely different than what is on the develop. So probably here you could introduce so many bugs because it's risky. Creating so many feature branches with stale code always leads to merge conflicts. But maybe not always, but very often. Unless you touch completely two different parts of application, completely different modules and so on, then you might not have conflicts. Instead of following this flow proposed by Vincent, there is, I believe, a better way of doing this, which is called the GitHub Flow. But the GitHub Flow is very simple. So it suggests to have only one central branch, either develop, main, or master, however you call it. And out of this branch, you create a feature branches, like pull requests, where you develop your code. Afterward, you add some commits. You open a pull request. People are commenting and review your code. And when everything is right, you either deploy it or you can merge it directly to develop. And the whole process, it shouldn't take any longer than a day. So every developer supposed to merge their changes at least once per day. So that's how it's supposed to look like. So we open one pull request, we develop it, and we merge it. Another developer does exactly the same, and they also try to merge it. So the conflicts, if there are any, they are mitigated very, very quickly. So we know what code is about, so we can fix and verify, is it still working? And I understand that sometimes you cannot directly push to that develop branch or like that central branch and having only one source of truth. So you can still take from the other Git flow, from the other model proposed by Vincent, two branches. You still might keep the master branch for the releases and use only develop for development to have like the draft copy of the code, which you can test before you release it to master. You still can keep this layer of release branches even if it makes it easier for you. But in my opinion, it doesn't. In the most of cases, you want to develop and deploy your code as soon as possible. You might ask, what if I didn't finish my story on time and it breaks stuff? What I supposed to do? I cannot commit unfinished code to master. And that's sort of true, but it isn't also. So you cannot commit broken code to develop. That's right. But not finished code, yes, you can. So that's what we are taught about programmers, to develop the software without breaking stuff. So either you copy the code and create another mirror of the function you are changing, or you follow the solid principles that allow you to abstract it in a way to then break the code. Code is supposed to be open for extension, but closed for modification. So how we can do it if you didn't finish the feature, but you still want to deploy your code to master, you could use feature toggles. Feature toggles were proposed by Martin Fowler, which is a very good developer. It allows us to disable features based on the configuration of the project. So for example, we can enable something like a pet survey or disable it on the running program. It's supposed to be so easy. And even your project manager might really like this approach because you could disable and enable features for other clients. So this is a very beneficial feature. And how to implement with Node? So this is the very simple implementation of feature toggle in Node. Also, you can use it in the front end for React. You simply disable the code on production. The wizards like Create React App and others, they usually support those flags, so you can easily use it without any configuration. Another problem with this approach is when we're supposed to do the testing. In my opinion, testing shouldn't happen on the pull requests, but after the pull request is merged to develop. I'm of course talking about the manual tests, like tests performed by the QA. They, I believe, shouldn't work on the pull request unless they create automated test cases on it, like for example writing integration test or unit test. Then it might be beneficial to do it on the pull request. But all manual testing supposed to happen on the develop branch. And that's how continuous integration works. It's not about these pipelines running in your GitHub, in GitLab, and so on. It is about continuously integrating changes into the code base. Those pipelines simply support you and verify that your code is not breaking the main branch. If it does, your pipeline will be red and it will fail, so we will not be able to merge it. So that's what continuous integration is about, not about the pipelines. Don't mix it, because these are completely two different things. Pipelines support only the development process. They are not the process by itself. The process is about continuously merging your pull requests at least once per day into develop branch, and every developer is supposed to do this. I even wrote it in this article that every developer is supposed to merge the changes into the develop at least once per day. But of course, I wrote this article, so I'm biased. And actually, if you open the original article written by Vincent, he even says that the Git flow is actually a better approach because the web apps are usually continuously delivered and never rolled back. So we don't need to really support the multiple versions of the software unless we build something very enterprise. So before you actually decide on the Git model you want to use, I would consider both, and your team's supposed to use the most easy implementation as possible, which works in your context. You shouldn't build like enterprise software models if you build like a simple startup which deploys your application every single week. You're supposed to keep your process lean and easy. The process is supposed to support you and your team, not you supposed to work for the process. And I believe this is the most important lesson here. So the process is supposed to work for developers, not developers to fulfill the process. Have that always in mind. And that's it for today. Before you close this video, please let me know in the comment section if the audio quality is improved, and also what do you think if I would record the video on feature toggles, because it's not only beneficial for developers but also for your company, because you would be able to enable and disable features for some users and also some different clients. So your business might also benefit out of it. Please hit the like button and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next videos.